It's Monday again. Mike and I are going to be down here for about 3 hours today. Don't have a lot on the agenda. I did make some software changes. If you'll remember last week, we had an issue where one of the out lanes was scoring like 2 or 3 times. Instead of 300, it was scoring 600 or 900 points. And I decided that it was time that I added a debounce circuit to all of the switches. So I came up with some universal debounce code, and hopefully that's going to resolve this problem for this switch and any other ones in the future. Excuse me. So my plan is to load that in and then check it out. This is the first time loading. There's liable to be logic bugs in this, and it may not work at all. So we'll see. We might have to revert back to the old code and do some other work. Not really sure what Mike has planned for today. He isn't down here yet, but he should be here shortly. So we'll bring you back when I get the laptop hooked up and get the new code loaded in. Well, I've downloaded my new code into the computer. I reset the thing. You can see the power light is on from the power supply down below. And if you come around to the other side of the table, you will see absolutely nothing. By the way, Mike made it. Say hi, Mike.
Hey.
So anyway, Mike is working on some light bulb simulators. We're going to use this plastic rod to transport light up from the bottom and underneath the plastics. And so he's working on that right now. But I'm going to go ahead and back down to the previous version of code and see what my problem is with this table not resetting. It's very likely a software bug in the code I just downloaded. But I'll check it out. I'll bring you back in a little bit. When I plugged my laptop cable in to re-download the old code, I noticed something. Those 2 lights came on, indicating that to me that the microprocessor did not have any power while it was plugged in. I don't know yet why. I haven't troubleshot that. However, once that turned on, it turned on the table. So I just re-downloaded the code, and I'm going to start by putting a couple of credits on. So I got 2 players turned on. Flippers seem to work. The thing we were trying to test was whether this would get 300 or 600. There's 300. And there it got 600. So it did it. So you can hear the clicks. I'm hitting it once. And I'm still getting lots of counts. So the delay that I put in there obviously isn't taking care of the problem. Now I am going to jump into my code and modify the delay on this switch to something much longer, like 1 second, just to see if that makes any difference. So I'll bring you back after I get that change made and uploaded. Okay, I've loaded the new modified code in, and just for testing, I changed the debounce on this switch to 2 seconds, just to see if that would make a difference, and it would allow me to test and see if my debounce code is actually working. So if I hit this once, I get 3 points. Now if I hit it twice within 2 seconds, it shouldn't register the second time because it's still in the debounce circuit. And it doesn't register until 2 seconds is up. And we're only getting 3 scores each time, so that definitely sounds like it is a debounce issue, and I just need to make my time longer. So I talked to Mike, and we decided that we would go ahead and change it to 250 milliseconds?
Half a second.
Half a second, 500 milliseconds. Okay, so we're going to change it to 500 milliseconds and see how that works. I'll bring you back in a second. Okay, we have the new code loaded. Looks like it's working really good. Only getting 300 points each time I go across it. And it seems to react plenty fast enough. So Mike, would you like to just throw a ball on the table and play around and see if the other switches seem to be working properly? The ball's in the tray there. I'll be the tripod. Am I in your way? Nope.
Rollovers aren't really scoring it. No buzz.
Why is that fired out?
I don't know.
Wait,
It's jammed.
Turn it off.
But this wasn't, the gate wasn't buzzing anymore.
That's interesting.
It's not working right, but it's not
I don't know if
buzzing.
you guys saw that, but this flipper solenoid was flipped all the way out and hadn't released. That's interesting.
We'll look at it and see.
Yeah, I'll have to check the code on that. So everything else looked pretty good. Stick a game on. One of the things I wanted to check, we can just do this with by hand, is I sped up the incrementing of those dots. You thought it was going too slow last time. Remember when it added the
Yeah.
scores on? So
All right, it's not.
did you turn it back on?
I thought I did. Yeah, I got a green light.
Oh, okay. It won't reset because I'm being powered by the laptop. Let me
Turn this off.
No, I can just hit the button back here. Okay, so what I'm checking is the speed at which it adds lights there. So, that better?
That one double bounced. Did you notice it?
No.
There it went. So this one apparently not on your half second.
Oh no! The half second was only on one thing, so I'm gonna go through the code and I'll make all of these,
All the wire.
all of the wire rollovers a half second debounce.
Right. You mean when you were counting them up, they
Right.
were slow? Okay.
Yeah,
You
so-
didn't change the way you count them down.
No, that's exactly the same. Okay, go ahead and
See, now why'd that give me 3,000
I don't know something.
right off the bat?
Something bounced. Must have.
And it gave me A, so this must have bounced.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
So yeah, I just didn't want it to jump right from like 6 to 9.
Yeah.
I wanted it to count up like the mechanical.
There's an odd little skip in there when you're counting it down.
It does. It counts 5 and then it pauses and counts 5 more. Because that's the way the game played.
Okay, but the pause seems like it's too short.
Might be, but I can adjust that. So anyway, touch down on that and see how far you have to push it down before it makes. That's pretty far. You wouldn't think that that would bounce. Try the middle one. It's not really buzzing loud, so.
I can live with that.
That's because it's not touching the wall, probably. Yeah, it's that touching the wall that makes the noise.
Yeah.
Maybe we just need to bend the tip of it a little bit. I don't know.
We might have to cut a little recess in the wood. You know?
So we're talking about the gate here. I think you guys can probably or maybe hear that there's a little light buzz, but if this comes over and touches the wood, you get that, and that is terribly annoying. But right now, when this gate closes, you can see that it's way over here. So if we align this with this, when it swings open, it hits against this wood and makes that horrendous noise, and we're trying to figure out how to adjust it, but we haven't quite figured that out yet. So we're working on that. So anyway, I'm going to shut off the camera for a minute here while we talk about what we're going to do next. Okay, I just increased the duration of the timeout on this slingshot, and it has revealed a flaw in my logic that I'm going to have to think about and fix. The way my logic works is that when a switch fires, I turn on a mask for a certain amount of time that says ignore any changes on this switch until I get done. And then when the timer times out, then it'll fire it again, and that keeps double bounces and stuff like that from registering twice. The problem is switches like this switch work differently. They fire and then they wait for the switch to open to let go. So when this fires now, oops, I'm sorry, it holds for 250 milliseconds and then lets go, or it should let go, but it didn't.
Yeah, you see it. It's.
So my timeout is causing that to stick out for that 250 milliseconds, and that is definitely not what we want to do. So we'll have to come up with a fix for that. Either I'll change my debounce routine or I'll do something else. But if that's not going to happen here tonight, that's going to be a sit down at the computer and think about it thing. But it has revealed an issue, and that's what it's all about. So Mike has got a light bracket holder in his hand. He's about to put together a little light display unit, and then we're going to mount that under the table and see how that lights up this light right there. So we'll be back in a second with that. So we're working on the light bulb simulators, and I'm not sure how well this is going to show up on film, but right now this is lit up by an LED that's just shining through the hole on the bottom. So Mike, if you would slide in the light bulb simulator. Now we've mounted a holder down on the bottom, so go ahead and slip it in there. And we have this plastic rod that basically catches the light and brings it up, and you can see how bright that looks. And so there's a comparison, and you can definitely see how much brighter that is. Now it's almost looking washed out to you. It doesn't look like that to us. It looks really wonderful to the eye. So this is our design. We're going to go with this, and pretty much all of the light bulbs that come under plastic, like those down there, those are all going to get this new holder installed, and the plastic bulbs coming up to the top. And Mike really wants a light behind this girl, so we're going to lift the thing up. So we're going to drill a hole there and bring another plastic rod up from the bottom and hook it onto there. And then, interestingly, that one only has one light. The one on this side has two. So,
That's a tight fit.
you had it in there once.
I'm worried I'm gonna break the damn bracket below it.
So you can see how much better that girl looks lit up than before. So anyway, it's really going to make these plastics pop on this table when we get these lights done. So I think we might spend an hour or so making some of these this evening and see what we can do. So we'll bring you back later. Okay, just a little update. We've done one of the light pipes behind Elton's head here, and that really looks good. We did another shorter light pipe. Let me go around to the other side, underneath this piece of clear plastic, and we really like the way that brightens up the top of the table. So during the off week, we're going to go ahead and make plastic pieces for all of these and maybe print some more holders to hold the plastic. And then I guess next week, if everything goes well, we'll be back here replacing all of these holders with the light pipe holders, and we should have the table looking a lot better. So in the adjusting of solenoid's noise making thing, we've talked about this gate, and we have to set that gate so it's level, but when it's level and it opens, it hits this piece of wood and buzzes loudly. So we've decided to take the really easy way out, and we're going to carve a notch in this piece of wood to allow this gate to swing all the way open without contacting the wood. And we'll just paint it black. It'll be hardly noticeable, but it'll make it a lot easier than trying to figure out how to adjust the non-adjustable. It's not spinning.
I hate this.
So anyway, we're going to pull that out. I'll take it home and I'll work on it at home.